Hello everybody, and welcome back to my channel. Now I'm sure you guys have seen a lot of headlines saying that a new $1,200 monthly stimulus check is on the way. And the fact is that this is 100% true. New monthly stimulus checks are now on the table, under a new fourth stimulus bill proposed by several Democrats in Congress. Folks, are you set to receive a fourth stimulus check from Congress? And are you happy with it being only $1,200? Leave a comment down below saying yes or no.
Explosion of worker productivity, and yet in real inflation accounted for dollars, many workers today are not making a nickel more than they did 50 years ago.
So multiple Democrats told people this week that it's crucial that we assess the economy based on how it serves working people instead of the profits to the largest corporations. A strong economy does not just work for the wealthy and well-connected. It should work for everyone. Now the bill that are talking about, everybody, is called the Support Act. And according to the Treasury Department, the Support Act, which is the fourth stimulus bill, will give United States residents 18 and older a $1,200 monthly payment. And for any dependents, you will receive an extra $600. Now you only qualify for this fourth stimulus check if you are making $150,000 and less per year if you're a married couple. And if you're a single filer, you have to be earning less than $75,000 a year. So folks, get ready to receive a fourth stimulus check from Congress. It looks like President Biden just might approve it very soon. And folks, remember that another stimulus check might be included in the infrastructure bill.
This is an issue I feel very strongly about.
So then tell us, what's the holdup with the Senate on passing these bills?
Well, the answer is the Republicans. And, you have many Republicans who are still maintaining the myth.
Senators on Sunday have actually just unveiled the legislative text of the $1 trillion bipartisan infrastructure bill. And Republican Senator Susan Collins of Maine said on Sunday that this legislation will be the most significant investment in our infrastructure since the construction of the interstate highway system. And Chuck Schumer said, given how the bipartisan bill is and how much work has already been put in to get the details right, I believe the Senate can quickly process relevant amendments and pass this bill in a matter of days. Guys, remember, the Senate has already cleared two key procedural hurdles last week while the lead negotiators continued working to finish the legislative language. Schumer then kept senators in Washington, D.C. for the weekend in anticipation of the bill finally being approved. Schumer also said that he expects the Senate will vote for final passage on the bill in a number of days. Now, this legislation is the first part of a two-track strategy pushed by the White House and Democratic leaders to enact the key pillars of President Biden's economic agenda. Now, the official name of the bill is the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act, and the fact sheet was released by the White House describing the agreement as a once-in-a-generation investment. Now, for the Republican Senator Rob Portman, he spoke with Senator Kyrsten Sinema, one of the leaders in the Democratic Party.
The medical experts, the scientists, what they should say or do. So I don't want to get ahead. The CDC has to make this. I asked the CDC to go back and consider other options that may be available to them. You're going to hear from them what those other options are. I have been informed.
In both people to reporters, they're excited for a deal. Other key members of the bipartisan legislation include Susan Collins and Joe Manchin. Now, the bill, which does include some elements of the American Jobs Plan, is much smaller in scale and scope. The Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act proposes $550 billion of new federal spending, focusing on investments in physical infrastructure. Now, the Biden administration urged the Senate to take up and pass the bill, which they say will grow the economy, enhance our competitiveness, and create good jobs. The plan significantly invests less money in social and human infrastructure provisions and programs, including the American Jobs Plan. Folks, are you set to receive a fourth stimulus check? And do you believe that President Biden is doing all that it takes to send out the fourth stimulus check? Tell me your thoughts in the comments below. As always, everybody, thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate your amazing support.
We are all closer to being homeless than we are to being a billionaire. Okay?
Yes. Yeah.
That's true. What they're saying about them is what they would say about us if we had to rely on a minimum wage job, which cannot pay rent in a single state in the United States of America.
Continue to call your members of Congress and say, reconvene now. Extend the moratorium. Make sure we're actually having a full recovery for our community.
We are here because
of this eviction emergency. Say eviction emergency.
Housing is a human right, and not just any housing, but dignified, long-term, safe, healthy, stable housing.
1 out of every 6 renters is affected by the lifting of this moratorium. Eviction is violence.
If these are really the halls of power, are we using that power to feed, to house?
I'm so happy for all of us. I just, all the people understand what we're in. That's exactly right. And all those all their mamas and all their daddies who get to stay in their homes and keep their lives together. But it's also all the people who get on the front lines and they just need to see that it matters. When a strong woman stands up and says, I'm not working, and the rest of the world says, you know what, we're just going to have to adjust. Listen. We're going to have to listen and we're going to have to make change. You should be so.
Since I announced this hearing, people have been sending me stories. Linda Navarro, veteran of the U.S. Navy, went back to school when she was 39 years old. She's now 70. She has $145,000 in student loans. She has carried this debt for 31 years. She wrote to me, there's no way to look forward. Renisha Bradley, a single mom with 3 kids. She's a hotel desk clerk. She has $51,000 in student debt, I should say. She's trying to get it discharged in bankruptcy. The Department of Education is fighting her all the way, saying she spent too much money on buying food for her children. Lisa from Arizona, mother of 2, filed for bankruptcy in 2008, 13 years ago, but couldn't discharge her student loans. She now owes $217,000. This is new in America. It didn't used to be this way. Before 1976, student loans were treated like other types of unsecured debt in bankruptcy. If you were facing financial ruin, you could get relief. But then Congress got the idea that student borrowers were running to bankruptcy court right after graduation. This notion was based on more anecdote than data. But Congress started passing laws to make it harder to discharge student loans. From 1978 to 1998, Congress made it so there were only 2 ways to get a student loan discharge: prove you had undue hardship or wait a period of years after the loan became due before filing bankruptcy. First, it was a 5-year waiting period. Then it became 7 years. Then in 1998, Congress rewrote the Higher Education Act, and as a budget offset, tucked in a provision getting rid of the waiting period for student loan dischargeability. Under the law now, there is no length of time, no waiting period. Now federal student loans can only be discharged if the borrower proves he or she had undue hardship. Well, that's an interesting standard. How is